I'm Ben Rising with Whitetail Edge, and I'm doing some segments for Black Widow this year throughout the season. Black Widow deer lures. And we're kind of trying to do some instructional videos for you guys. And we did some last year and they were a big hit, so we wanted to do some more this year. And this scenario I want to go over right here, I kind of want to add some hunting scenarios to some of the stuff we're doing this year with Black Widow and how we kind of use it. And I'm on my way out from another stand here, so that's why I'm talking now. I want to show you this spot here. Okay, I didn't have the right wind for this spot today, but I can tell right now that there was a big buck in this scrape today. What I've got here is a really deep hollow down in here, and then I've got a big bedding area over here, but this hollow also leads to another bedding area. But then it comes up out of this hollow. You got two ridges that meet here, and then it crosses this gas well drive that goes into a big cornfield back here. Well, they cross this into this next woods, and then they go up into this woods, and then there's another cornfield up in there. This cornfield just wraps around. Well, this is a big flat bedding area. This is all hilly, rocky, and nasty down in here. So what you've got is you got two different bedding areas, and I've got a stand right here, right on the edge of this gas well drive and farm lane, because it makes it easy for me to get in this road, and I can come in this road and be very quiet. I don't leave a lot of scent on that gravel and dirt, and I can get right into that stand, not make hardly any noise in the morning, in the dark, or even in an afternoon hunt. But what I've got here, and you can see is, and I don't want to touch this down here right now, but I've got a grapevine right here that I've cut off, and I tied it to this limb. And I know a lot of people already do that, and it's a great thing, and you can see where they're chewing this branch right here. But what I'm going to do is, since I'm here and I'm going through here and I know this buck is hitting it, and I can see a small doe track in here also, and we had a heavy rain last night. That's how I know how fresh this is, because we had heavy rain last night. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to freshen this up with some doe urine, because this time of year right now, this is late November. It's already after the rut. The main rut. So this is what I would call like post rut. But a lot of times what people don't understand is these big bucks, and I typically don't set stuff down right here. Actually, I'm going to walk out here. I'm going to set my bow in this driveway. Going towards November like this, late November, a lot of the main breeding is already being done, and you know, the younger bucks get amped up in, you know, 18th, 17th of October, and they run hard into the first few weeks of November. And they're run ragged and just running around like teenagers. Well, these really big deer, a lot of times the does go to the big deer, so they don't have to move a lot. The does seek them out. But then when that starts, you know, slowing down, and early November, them bucks will still be cruising their territory. They will cruise their area for dominance and leaving scrape sign and doing all that. But a lot of times I've found that those really big deer will stay in these hollows or in these bedding areas, and these does will actually come to them because they know they're the dominant deer and they want to be with them. But like this buck right here, this big track, this is probably the deer that I call Mr. Fantasy that's probably using this spot. I've had pictures of him here before. The only problem is he broke a tine already, so it's just kind of like, you know, but he's used this scrape already this year. So what I'm going to do is, just to kind of keep him in here and keep him working this, is I'm going to put some scrape beads in here. Now these are just Scrape Master scrape beads. And I got a brand new pack here. So I'll just take these and I'll just sprinkle some in here like that. Now those are already, you know, they're infused with, you know, a mixture of, you know, estrus scent, deer scent, you know, buck and doe both together. So, and it's like a dominant buck and an estrus scent mixed together. Now you notice I'm not setting this pack down. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this branch butter. Now this is the preorbital and forehead gland. Preorbital is like by their eyes right here, and then their forehead gland, that's why their greasy foreheads get all greasy, them bucks, and they get real dark in the rut. Branch butter is one of my favorite things that Andy's come out with from Black Widow deer lures. I'm going to take this, I'm just going to smear it on here. You can see it's just like a gel. And they'll come up there and they'll just lick that to death. Now that combination right there will keep the, especially this branch butter. It stinks something nasty. I mean, like an old buck. And it just drives them bucks crazy. And them does even come in and smell it, because then they know that these bucks are using this, and then they want to come in here and urinate in it, especially if they're still, you know, in heat. But what I was trying to say was the big bucks are usually the last ones. They're the last ones to start really getting rutted up, but they're the last ones to quit. So this time of year, like Thanksgiving and a little after, this is when you can really, really get on a big buck with a scrape like this. Like I'm talking upper end deer. You know, the 160 plus type mature bucks, 5.5 years old and older. They're still out roaming. They don't want to stop breeding. The does are getting less and less, and so they want to be one of them deer that find that available doe. So they're spending a little more time on their feet than normal. And when you set a trap like this in a situation where you can sneak in here on the right wind and you can catch them popping from one bedding area to the other, that's great. Well, if you can hold them up in this spot, right here in this opening, and you can make them stop right here like they're doing, then you can make that shot. I got this set up at about 30-yard broadside shot right here. It's like the perfect thing. And they've already naturally started another scrape just inside the woods here at another 28 yards from that stand, and I'll show you that one in a second. And they've started that one naturally. I started this one on my own, well then they started another one right there. So I got two scrapes right here within 20 yards of each other. So I'm going to take this just one step a little further now. And because I know this dominant buck's in here, okay? And you know, I've got some Scrape Master beads, got the preorbital glands. Now I'll use some of this XXX hot and ready. This is extreme collected a peak of estrus from a doe right here. This will make them go nuts. And this is exactly what you're looking for this right now. He's looking for that hot doe. And I'll just make it, I don't want to overdo it, just like 1 or 2 squirts in there. That's it. Because they can smell that a long way, and that smell will last her. And then with them scrape beads in there, that'll really get them churning. Now what I'm going to do now, being that they've already got another scrape over there. Now one thing I'm going to do, since I walked over there to the camera to kind of teach you guys this stuff, typically I don't walk around a spot like this. You know, I do everything and I just get the heck out of here. But I've got some, you know, boots on, my pants ain't touching the ground. So where I walk, I'm just going to stir this up. I'm going to make some fresh marks here, like this. And that's fresh dirt smell mixed with that urine and that hot and ready. They can smell that, and it smells real because that fresh dirt smell mixed with all that smells like a buck has been working the scrape. So I'm just going to kind of work my tracks out a little bit like that. And now, one thing I won't do is I won't leave this stick here. I'm going to carry this stick with me now till I get away from this area, and then I'll pitch it because I don't want that lure on there, you know, and then I just throw it over here with my hand set on it. So I'm going to carry this out of here with me now, but I'm going to show you this other scrape over here quick. Now I'm coming up behind the camera. I walked that road down, left my scent, and you can see right here where these deer are crossing this heavy. They cross this road right here. There's my bow, and right there's that scrape, and then they go right down in that hollow or around there. It's the perfect situation. I'm actually going to avoid this deer trail a little bit. There's my stand right there. Right there in that tree. And then right here, you see this other scrape they got. And you can see how it thickens up in there. And it works along the edge of this field up here. And it goes right up into another bedding area and filters out into that field. These deer will bed all through this point out in here. I find all kinds of sheds in here throughout the year, or you know, after season. I've got some Dominator in here too, which the Dominator, I know this may seem extreme to some people, like you're really putting a lot of smell out there, okay? Well, this is what they do in the wild. I mean, deer do this. So now I got Dominator. And I'm going to take this Dominator and I'm going to go over to that other scrape. I'm not going to put hot and ready in that scrape. I'm just going to put Dominator over there, and I'll leave the doe smell over here. But I'm going to go squirt some Dominator in that, like another old buck, mature buck in this area, checking the scrape line. And that's actually going to agitate this big deer. It'll make him mad. And then he'll want to come in here and he's going to want to check that. He's going to want to know who the heck is working his spot. That's your Black Widow deer lures tip on this episode of our instructional videos. Hope that teaches you something and you can use that somewhere where you know that you've got a situation like this, easy access. You got a couple scrapes right there, and that's kind of how to get the dupe on a big buck later in the year. Kind of tick them off when they're really those last big deer really looking for a hot doe.